What's that?
The resolution, town attorney in the back. I sign up for it.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, we gotta get a simple report out.
We don't like
We are live streaming.
Facing the face, don't.
Okay, well, welcome to the work session. I think we have an applicant here for Premier Dog Sports. You're-
Yeah.
You guys have to come up and give your presentation.
Good evening. Anthony Pandolfi with Carmina Wood Design. Project engineer for, this is gonna be a 2,800 square foot warehouse that's gonna be on the same property as Premier Dog Sports at 15 Lancaster Parkway. This is the entrance, this is all existing entrance off of Lancaster Parkway, the parking lot, the facility itself, and then the stone parking lot to the east here. We are proposing the warehouse off of that parking lot to the east, up in the northeast corner there. Just a couple things I want to mention. No sewer or water utilities to this building. It will be heat and electric though. It's under 4,000 square feet. I've talked with Matt, so this will be a type 2 for seeker. And so there's really no, because of the lack of utilities, there's really no outside agencies that we need approval from, just the local town approvals. So if there's any questions or comments?
Yeah, what are they using it for? Just store?
Oh, it's gonna be used for storing RVs in the winter, as well as they will have dog competitions held in there, kind of like I think they described it as like kind of like a seeking competition that they can do in there with like hay bales and stuff for the dogs to kind of, sift things out and competitions like that.
So they're starting up a new business of storing in that building then? RV storage?
Well, it's going to be for their RVs,
That belong to the...
for the people that are coming to stay. Shelley, if you can maybe expand on that a little.
I'm the owner of Premier Dog Sports. My husband and myself own it. So my husband wanted to put a garage up for our motorhome to store it, and I told him the only way he was allowed to do that was if we made money on it somehow. So he agreed, and we were going to do barn hunt in there. Barn hunt is a sport where, like you say, you put hay bales in there, and we don't want hay in our building, so we wanted like an outbuilding, so we could put hay in there, and they're supposed to seek out rat scents in the barn. So that's what we want to do is 3,000 square feet, did you say?
2,800.
2,800. So we need about 1,500 square feet for the barn hunt. And I've researched it, and we are big enough for a national competition, which people in the area are very excited about, because there's nothing in Western New York that's big enough to house something like this for a national event. We have the parking, we have a great location, we love Lancaster, we have lots of restaurants, and so people are very excited about us possibly hosting nationals in the future.
Just some comments from me. Shelley, I'm so happy that you came to see me way back when you did. I know that other areas kind of weren't receptive.
Right.
I certainly was, and I'm glad I was. You've done a tremendous job with that facility.
Thank you.
Lancaster holds the only one in New York State, a facility of that magnitude. We're drawing people, and again, I'll repeat it again, when she had the groundbreaking ceremony just to move dirt, we had well over 200 people there from all over the place, Canada, Pennsylvania. It was amazing. And then she had the grand opening. The place is, I hear nothing but good things. You were nominated for basically the Business of the Year.
Yep. And I was a woman of influence for Business First this year.
So you've done a tremendous job,
Thank you.
and thank you very much for coming to Lancaster.
Well, I thank you for believing in us, because it's the bank was like, are you crazy? A place for dogs? Yeah, but we've proved ourselves. I mean, we have RVs there over the summertime. We have about 15 RVs that come and stay there. We've had people from the Canadian World Team come down to practice with us. I mean, people from all over come. And they spend their money in town. They go to Ripa's, they go to the gas station, they go to the winery over here, and so they're enjoying Lancaster. And it's a beautiful area. It's nice and safe. That was Don's #1 requirement, was safe. And Lancaster is the best place we could have put this. So I thank you for believing in me.
You're welcome.
Congratulations on your business
Thank
success.
you.
Absolutely.
Very much so. It's 28,000 square feet for dog training, and we have 6-7 classes going on. We have 77 total classes each week.
Wow.
So that's it.
Any other questions from board members?
Thank you.
No? Not at
Thank
all.
you.
Thank you. So the RV is just going to be our RV. It's not going to be like a business storing them. It's going to be our own.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'm going to table resolutions 22 and 23. Figured get that on the table right now.
What did he say?
I'm going to table 22 and 23.
Okay.
Those are my resolutions.
Okay. So we'll move on to Matt.
Yes, I've prepared a brief report of events of the last couple of weeks here. First, I want to thank you for your prayers and condolences and your understanding throughout that difficult time. I wanted to open with some conversation about services that we do provide to the village. Whether or not you're aware, you may already be aware, but they're currently in a search for their local zoning code enforcement officer. And they had asked if I'd be willing to provide additional services above and beyond what our contract is. So tonight, if I could just ask for an acknowledgement, should they ask for something specific, it's not going to be outside of, any addition far above and beyond what the original contract was agreed with the village, just in the interim until they do find a replacement for their code enforcement officer.
Is it going to take time away for our guys to go?
It's additional work. It's definitely additional work, but
And who's
it's,
paying for that? I'm
well,
not familiar with the contract.
lending a hand for a municipality that's a little short-handed right now until they get get somebody on board. As I said, I don't know whether or not anybody here has had any conversations with the village regarding that, but, there may be an instance where somebody's going to ask for some assistance with a local matter. And, whether it's investigating a complaint or, making a notification for a deficiency, it may be until such time they have a replacement.
Do we have to memorialize this in a contract or something?
I'll talk to Art Herzig. We do have an agreement with them where we do provide services for that department, but they've had their own code enforcement officer. So I'll check with Art and see what he envisions. And it looks like it's going to be a favor now and again. I'll be sure to let you know, but if there's going to be something that's more long-term and it's going to take resources, then I'll let you guys know that as well.
Great, thank you.
Resolution number 3 acknowledges the building permits that were issued in the last couple of weeks. I do want to state 201 Peppermint Road has requested a conditional sidewalk waiver. Whether or not this board is able to grant it tonight or not is entirely up to you. As it stands right now, the code is pretty specific that a sidewalk will be necessary on that one lot on Peppermint Road. We did receive a complaint regarding a facility here in town regarding its condition and its operation as it relates to its original site plan, just for the condition of the site, how it's being operated. I did send notification out. When I returned, it was on or about the 11th. As of today, I did receive an email confirmation, and we're going to have a phone meeting this coming Thursday morning to discuss what remedies are going to take place to bring that property back into compliance. They'll be applying for their operational permit for the facility that's there, as well as a special use permit as required by our zoning code. The notification was received on December 14th announcing the adoption of the new Speedies permit. So Ed and I will be discussing what the changes are to that state permit and draft a management plan to present to the Drainage and Sewer Committee, Storm Sewer Committee. We did have information forwarded as a request from the water keepers to create a task force for public input on discharges into Skajackwada Creek. Town of Lancaster is in the headwaters of that creek, and they're looking for input from all of the municipalities all the way in to where it discharges into the lake. I'll participate, and if anybody else on any of the board are willing to do so, there's an avenue where they can be heard.
Diane and I participate in the cleanup for the Rotary Club every year, so we've been down cleaning up that.
The section of Skajacka Creek?
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So if, you're more than welcome, I would imagine, to jump on board if you want to be a part of the communications for that input.
Okay, thank you.
We've also had more inquiries and what the status is of the sale of the Rue Madeline Stormwater Facility. I haven't received anything at the county level. As of this morning, we do not have an ownership transfer from the original owner to the bid awardee during that county auction. And that should do it for my report to this board tonight.
Question for you. The apartment complex at Broadway and Pavement, are they putting sidewalks up there?
There were no sidewalks required with that site plan.
Really? That's surprising.
I'm
I
a
mean,
little
you
disturbed
go up by
myself,
there, and
but
I don't know how people are going to get around and cross the street and all the rest of that. I mean, it's a pretty dangerous situation in my opinion.
yeah, there were some comments made throughout the planning process to the board that required the sidewalks in that area, and the plan was approved. It was recommended and approved as it was presented. I scratched my head a lot on that project since the state went through that intersection upgrade program. That installed brand-new traffic lights, new crossing signals, the pedestrian walkways are painted properly on the roadways to accept any new sidewalks that are going to be installed at the time of development. Since then, I was actually paying attention to it today. The most recent pavement road repavement project milled out and paved over that section of pedestrian crossway on the north side of Broadway at pavement. So whether or not the county is going to go back and restripe that pedestrian crossway is to be determined. We'll just need to inquire with the department, the Highway Department of Erie County.
So who do we talk to about revisiting that and forcing sidewalks to go up there? I mean, it's obviously a very dangerous situation.
It could be a very
People-
dangerous
People
situation.
can't even get from place to place. You know, they're walking through the dirt, walking through the street. I don't know how they plan on getting around without
Town
sidewalks.
Park not too far from there as well. And again, you know, we've got pavement road as that demising line for, you know, heavier densities to the west and a little bit more rural in the east. And again, you know, most of these applicants that come, you know, it's always that sidewalk to nowhere reaction. But, you know, now we have places to go. And, you know, as I said, there's a town park north of this facility that's going to house quite a few new residents, and they need to get to where they need to go, whether it's by vehicle traffic, bicycle, walking traffic. You know, the code's pretty clear in these residential districts that require these public sidewalks.
Okay, thank you.
So on Resolution 3 with Peppermint, if it's designated that should have sidewalks, how do we go through that resolution if we want them, if we're not going to approve it with the waiver?
Well, what we're doing tonight is we're only acknowledging those building permits that were issued in the last couple of weeks. 201 Peppermint, for some time, has requested a sidewalk waiver. This permit, as it's going to be acknowledged tonight, does not include a sidewalk waiver.
Okay. So how do we let you know that we don't want that sidewalk waiver to be granted?
If that's the will of the board, we'll convey that to the applicant, and we'll have a section of sidewalk installed on their
Do we have to say anything in the resolution? I guess is your question.
Right, but he said the way it is now, we are not approving a sidewalk waiver.
You do that by separate resolution.
Okay,
And
that's,
since you're not doing that, then they don't get it.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
What's that now?
Yes, thank you. Oh, forgive me for taking the time, and I want to thank you both, Supervisor Ruffino and Councilman Mazur. Working together in the last 4 years has been an honor for me to service the community together with you guys. I wish you the best.
thank you.
Thank you. Ed?
Real quick, work here, meeting with the contractor and the painting contractor. Some issues with the wood up there as they're scraping. So hopefully we'll have that resolved in about a week to get it secured enough to open the doors. We won't get the painting it until spring. Next door, which is on tonight for a change order, for a partial change order, the issues over there as we're peeling layers off, we're just finding more rot underneath, and that's what's causing these extras to pop up, is stuff you couldn't see until you started peeling the siding off, so. They're doing a good job, they're just being very meticulous as they're going through piece by piece and looking at stuff and figuring out what they gotta replace. Seabrook Road, we did get the qualifications in from consultants we solicited. I provided Mark and John Bellato copies of those qualifications, so we just have to review those, score them, and then make a determination of who's the most qualified. We're still waiting for the contract from the state, but this piece of the process can go on while we're waiting, so we can have that ready to go. Brickyard is moving along up to the point they're gonna stop for the winter, but they've gotten concrete in, started to lay out the dugouts. The netting and stuff won't go up until spring. Bowen Road Schoolhouse is, everything's done except the ramp, and I believe, I know Bruce's group removed the old ramp, and the new people were supposed to be out there this week to start building the new ramp. And that is the last piece of that. And I think contract-wise, we've gotten everything back to the county on both contracts, that one and
Yes.
this one.
Both of them, yeah.
So, I expect you should see reimbursement from the county whenever they get done signing the contracts. So, we're in good shape there. And that's about it right now.
Diane, anything from the clerk's office?
Just, I have the agreement to spend highway funds, so after the board approves that resolution tonight, if I could get the council members and supervisor and highway superintendent to sign it. It cannot be signed before the board approves that resolution.
Okay.
That's it.
Attorney's office?
Well, thank you.
John, highway?
Good evening. We've been pretty fortunate with the weather so far. So over the past couple months, we've stayed on top of obviously cleaning brush and leaves. Because of that fortunate weather, we've also been able to take care of a couple drainage jobs, some bubbler issues. I'd like to thank the village DPW for sending their flusher truck this past week. Came in real handy, and appreciate that. On another note, real quick, on behalf of myself and the Highway Department, I want to thank Councilmember Mazer and Supervisor Rufino for your years of dedicated service to the town. Our opinions always didn't, they differentiated sometimes, but you guys always took the time to explain your reasons and listen to both sides, and I greatly appreciate that. So good luck to you guys. And on to the next chapter. Super excited to get down to work with Supervisor-elect Leary and the new councilwoman, Melissa Studley, and Don Schroeder. That's it. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, John.
Bruce?
Good evening, Bruce Stutz, Lancaster Parks Recreation and Forestry Department. Some board updates. We're looking for support on 3 resolutions before the board tonight. Resolution number 25, we're looking for support, 2 new pumps for the boilers for the new garage. We've been restarting them, getting them through the last couple of weeks, but we're looking for support on 2 new pumps and preventive maintenance on that for the highway garage. Number 26, we're looking for support on contractor, a low bid contractor for removal of the youth bureau doors. We're going to be tying that into the new door project. Number 31, Jamie Kisevich is was our old director for the basketball department, looking to come back part-time and help out the program. So, Westwood Nature Walk got some good press from the Lancaster WB. We're progressing nicely. If you haven't been out there yet, check it out. We're putting in the second sign on the main entrance this week, weather permitting, hopefully tomorrow. So appreciate your support on that project. I think so far I've walked it, try to walk it pretty much every day, and it's turned out really nice so far. So, and also I like this, myself and our department, thank Ron for his 20 plus years of service to the community. Much appreciated. Been great especially, you know, in my early stages of my career with Lancaster, also with Dave for 4 years and everything else you've done for the community. So appreciate your support over the years and your guidance. Thank you.
Chief?
So I hope to have a new recruit to bring to you guys tonight for appointment. Unfortunately, that's going to have to hold off until hopefully the first meeting in January. We're still waiting on civil service approval for bringing him on. He's coming from another agency. At that meeting, we're hoping to have 4 candidates to bring to you guys for appointment. The academy is going to be starting in January. I believe the 22nd is the official start date. Our 2 recruits that we had in the academy both graduated very well, scores this past week. We're anxious to get them out into their training and get them on the road in the next few months. Again, only a short time in this position. I want to say thank you to the supervisor, to Councilman Mazer, for any time I had a question, any concerns that I had. You guys are very responsive, and appreciate your help and everything that I've gone through so far. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks. John?
I want to thank, excuse me, Ron, Diane, and Bob for being at our Day of Giving last Friday. It was a very successful event. We had many, many people from the Lancaster schools that were there to help put the day together, and we served over 140 families and over 275 children.
It was spectacular to be there and see that, what happens there. I mean, that it was really encouraging and inspiring to be there and watch how that happened, how quickly everybody got it done and everybody worked together in there, all the kids in there, the school administrators. I mean, that was really something. Thank you for doing that.
The community comes together as one big, huge family on that day, and it's just wonderful, like you had a chance to see. And of course, Ron, you've been there over the years, AKA Santa Claus, and Diane has been there over the years too, and they see how the community comes together. And I want to thank the police department for the many, many contributions. They raise a lot of money, a lot of funds, and they actually go out and purchase a lot of the gifts for us. Thank you. And I want to thank the Buildings and Grounds Committee, Bruce. You did another super job again this year, bringing everything together, picking things up. So we appreciate all that your crew did too.
John, it's a spectacular event. I was privileged to be there all those years. I mean, let's face it, this is your Super Bowl. All right, the work that goes into it, months and months beforehand, the planning, the organization, it's a well-timed machine. And again, we appreciate it, making us look good, that the town is a very giving community. And that's one of it, like I said, that's a Super Bowl for us that you guys run, so thank you.
Well, and thank you. And I want to say thanks to Dave. Good luck.
Thank you.
And I especially want to thank you, Ron, for your many years of service and the support that you have given the Youth Bureau. It has been greatly appreciated.
Thank you. Okay, I think that's it for now. I don't see any other department heads here, right? So we're going to take a 5-minute break. We'll reconvene at 7 o'clock.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. Yeah. It's true.
Just so you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody who's here for the moratorium resolution, we actually tabled that. We got a letter from the county, and we're digesting what it says in there, and we're, taking a look at it. Anything else to add on that?
No, just we didn't get it until after the 30 days. We got it on Thursday, the 14th, and it was just, there's a lot of information in there, so it's going to take us a little time to digest it and make our decisions, our determinations on how we're going to address it.
Thank you.
So you won't be discussing the moratorium at all?
There'll be no discussion on the
Not tonight.
moratorium at all.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
There goes the cameras.
Yeah, I figured that would come.
Then you came up with, looking for the code, we're reviewing it, when is that, yes. Laura, yeah.
Information's in the beginning, or wait till the end? Somebody might have been here later.
I think that right at the beginning, that meeting up with the public hearings or public hearings, unless you are going to take less than 5 minutes. It's usually at the beginning of
Yeah, I don't like talking about it because I always think I sound horrible.
I think most of us feel that way.
I can't help it. I hate the way I sound on on recording.
Yeah?
What?
It's a good place to start, right? New, right? With a new What more do you want to do?
The news was here?
Yeah, they're on now. We ought to plan on two things. You and Mark decide whether, how you want to do this restoration, as far as together or independently. Okay, that's fine. All right. Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. All right, I'll shoot an email out, look for some dates after the first of the year. There's no rush for the county or the state. Okay. Thank you. The second thing we want to do, conversation, I'll fill it out. We need to get together sooner than later on capital planning. Maybe sometime. Well, see, we better wait till finance.
I'm ready when you are.
Okay, I just don't want to wait till May and go, oh crap,
Is there someone going to be here from his office?
Yeah.
Because I thought it's a...
Good.
You're not sitting with John?
I don't know.
You have to sit 2 rows up?
Sites.
Yeah.
They didn't get into the whole article. Look at this. We're doing it. They're doing
You do all your free time?
Coach? Yeah. Hopefully, that when I used to go to detention. I was a freaking flyer with that.
system.
I think if I start
Fine on this thing.
investing their number of February, might as well come. They don't. So hopefully, here, Sunday morning, 6 a.m. That way I don't have to even go to back Sunday games.
There's no way that shops in the warehouse would have, even if it's just a break even. I know how I'm doing it. I've never looked at that. It's a service. It's always X dollars an acre, or part thereof, blah, blah, blah.
Put that right on the website.
Bring the meeting to order.
We're missing 2 members.
Yeah. Michelle, I think they're being held up by the news.
Oh, they must have heard the gale.
Where's Mark?
Right behind.
Okay. There we go. Dan, would you call roll, please?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Here.
Councilmember Dickman?
Here.
Councilmember Leary?
Here.
Councilmember Mazur?
Here.
Supervisor Rufino?
Here. Councilmember Dickman, would you do the pledge and invocation, please? Please remain standing.
Since we're in the holiday season, I just want to find a little quote here about the holidays. Christmas brings family and friends together. It helps us to appreciate the love in our lives that we often take for granted. May the true meaning of the holiday season fill your heart and home with many blessings.
Tonight's meeting, we have 30 pre-filed resolutions. Councilmember Leary tabled number 22 and 23. No suspended resolutions. We have 2 public hearings, no executive sessions. We close in memory of Charles Ferguson, Joan Snitzler, and Leonard Campesano, who was a former building inspector for us. So with that in mind, anybody want to speak about any of the resolutions, the pre-filed ones, the 30 that are pre-filed? I'll ask for a second time and a third time. Okay, we're a couple minutes before we go to the public hearing. So official reports, anybody have any official reports other than the work session? No? Again, I just want to praise what the Youth Bureau did for our community with the Day of Giving. It's, again, like I said, that's their Super Bowl. They plan for that for months and months ahead, and it's very well organized. A lot of families are serviced. I believe 140 families total. Nearly 300 kids get serviced through this. I mean, there's bikes they give out, there's food, they're giving them Christmas dinners, and it's just a tremendous event. You know, I attend it every year pretty much, and played Santa Claus for the last couple of years. But it's been, you know, pleasing to see that and to see how good our community reacts with things like that. So thank you, John.
If I could add to that, and we want to thank everybody who donated to that. John showed me a list of sponsors for the event, all these people, all these companies that also donated, but our people in the community came out and donated all the stuff that the families were able to take home. So thank you to anybody who gave to this. It was a great event.
Any official reports or town board committees? Right, we're all good? Okay, I'm going to move on and start the resolutions. We have a couple of minutes. I'd like to move resolution number 1. This resolve the minutes of regular board meeting held on December 4, 2023, being hereby approved. May I have a second?
Second.
On the question, on the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Leary?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazur?
Yes.
Supervisor Rufino?
Yes. I'd like to move resolution number 2, and this resolve the following audit claims being hereby ordered paid from the respective accounts as per abstract to be filed in the office of the town clerk by supervisor's office. It's check run number 12182023. Total amount hereby authorized to be paid is $3,701,138.05. May I have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Leary?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazur?
Yes.
Supervisor Rufino?
Yes. Councilmember Mazur, would you move resolution number 3, please?
Yes, Mr. Supervisor and Honorable Town Board, I offer the following resolution, move for its adoption. Be it resolved that the following building permits applications are hereby reaffirmed. there was a total of 26 in the town and 15 in the village for a total of 41 building permits. Now therefore it be resolved that the building permit applications herein coded CW for conditional sidewalk waiver be and hereby reaffirmed with a waiver of the town ordinances required for sidewalks. However, the waiver is granted upon the express condition that the town of Lancaster at any future date reserves the right to order sidewalk installation at the expense of the property owner.
May I have a second
Second.
on the question?
I just want to clear up, there is one place on here that is asking for a sidewalk waiver, but it's not covered by this resolution. There'll have to be another resolution to cover that sidewalk waiver. Thank you.
On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Larry?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazur?
Yes.
Supervisor Rufino?
Yes. It's 7:05, we're going to move on to our public hearings. Can I have a motion to open public hearing number 1, please?
Motion to, go ahead.
May I have a second?
Second.
On the roll?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Legal notice hereby given that pursuant to the authority set forth, Chapter 275 Salvage Yards, Code of Town of Lancaster, and the Town Law of the State of New York, pursuant to a resolution of the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster, adopted on the 4th day of December 2023, the said Town Board will hold a public hearing on the 18th day of December 2023 at 7:05 p.m. local time at Town Hall here at 21 Central Avenue to hear all interested persons upon the application of Dennis Hanazuski, DBA Ransom Auto Parts, to continue operating a salvage yard located at 867 Ransom Road here in the town of Lancaster, for purpose of revoking the salvage yard license and ordering the site remediation to be in compliance with New York State Department of Conservation. Anybody want to speak on this public hearing? I'll ask for a second time and a third. Can I have a motion to close public hearing number 1?
Motion to close.
May I have a second?
Second.
On the roll, please.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
I have a motion to open public hearing number 2.
Motion to open public hearing number 2.
May I have a second?
Second.
On the roll, please.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, and this is for LL Planning and Development fees. Legal notice hereby given that the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster will hold a public hearing on the 18th day of December 2023 at 7:05 p.m. at Town Hall for purposes of considering and possibly revising a local law to amend the Town of Lancaster Code, Section 258, Article 1, General Fees, and Article 2, Planning and Development Fees. Copies of the revised local law can be reviewed at Lancaster Town Hall, 21 Central Avenue, during normal business hours and on the Town of Lancaster's website. All interested people will be heard at the board. Anybody want to speak on public hearing number 2? I'll ask for a second time and a third time. Can I have a motion to close public hearing number 2?
Motion to close.
May I have a second?
Second.
On the roll, please.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, we're going to carry on with our regular meeting.
Mr. Rufino,
Yes.
can we have a break here? We want to present some proclamations to you, the board. Would like to do it? Adam, we want to go first?
Sure. As most of you probably already know, tonight was going to be Ron's last night as our well, not last night, but his last meeting as our supervisor. He's been here quite a long time, and he's done a lot for the community. So the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster would like to present this proclamation for his dedication. And I'll just read it quick. It just says, whereas Ron Rufino, a dedicated employee of the Town of Lancaster, is a councilman for 18 years and a supervisor for 4, and whereas Ronald Rufino Sr. has had the support of his wife Sarah for 41 years, along with his children Danielle, Ronald Jr. and Alexis with their families, and whereas Ronald Rufino Sr. has served his community as a youth coach for hockey, football, and baseball, as a member and president of the Our Lady of Pompeii Holy Name Society, and whereas Ronald Rufino has been the lead on many projects to improve our community, starting with the installation of 3 clocks in the town, the Village of Lancaster, the Village of Depew, countless meetings to improve our parks, most recent additional land for soccer fields, and the installation of banners to welcome residents and visitors to the Town of Lancaster. And whereas Ronald Rufino Sr. has been an advocate for responsible commercial growth in our commercial corridor and industrial park, which assisted in holding the line on town taxes and never overriding the tax cap in his 22-year career. And now, therefore, the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster wishes to recognize Supervisor Ronald Rufino Sr. for his 22 years of dedicated service to our community. Thank you.
Yes, Assemblymember Walls was in here earlier and presented me with a proclamation as well.
But wait, there's more.
There's more. Dominic, you want to come up first? Dominic's from Mr. County
Good evening,
Legislator
everybody.
Todaro.
Yes, I'm representing Erie County Legislator Frank Todaro. Unfortunately, he's sick today, so he regrets that he wasn't able to be here to present this in person. But in honor of your over 2 decades of service to the town of Lancaster, we wanted to present you with a proclamation recognizing you with the Erie County Legislature.
Yeah, you want, you want a picture?
Yeah, I'll do a picture real quick. No, that's fine. I don't need to be in the picture. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
We have one more. This came in today from County Executive Mark Poloncarz. So it says, honoring Ronald Rufino Sr. Whereas the town of Lancaster Supervisor Ronald Rufino will be retiring at the end of the year. Ron has spent the last 4 years as town supervisor overseeing all administrative matters, fiscal matters, contract negotiations, accounts payable. And whereas Ronald moved his family into Lancaster in 1993, Ronald built the home himself and would go on to raise all 3 of his children in that same home. And whereas Ronald has always been involved as an active member of the Lancaster community, Ronald coached youth football, youth baseball, and youth hockey. More importantly, Ronald mentored youth in the Lancaster Dubuque community for years. And whereas Ronald Rufino served as the town board liaison with the Youth Bureau from 2009 to 2017, all while serving as town councilman for the town of Lancaster. Ronald was inducted into the Lancaster Youth Hall of Fame in 2018 for his lasting impact on and off the field. And whereas Ronald and his wife, Sarah, have married for 41 years, and have 3 children, Danielle, Alexis, and Ronald Jr., Ronald enjoys spending time with his grandchildren and all of his family, and looking forward to hosting more Papa Ron pizza nights with them all. Now therefore be resolved that I, Mark Poloncarz, Erie County Executive, do hereby proclaim December 18th, 2023 as Ronald Rufino Senior Day in Erie County, and thank him for his leadership and service that he's provided to the town of Lancaster and our community. I congratulate him on a well-deserved retirement.
Ron, I'm not on your agenda, but as supervisor of town of Marilla, I'd like to present you with something from the Marilla Country Store. You can't hang it on your wall. And we want to thank you for your years of public service from the town and your leadership among the Association of Erie County Governments and what you did for the Supervisors Forum. We do appreciate it, and I'm also here to pay you the $10 I owe you from the last year.
Well, I made 2 tonight, Rod. So one, everybody's already said the whereases. It's always not one of my favorite ones to do. I will add that you're a dog lover, and Rudy, I've met your dog, tremendous. But in all honesty, one of the reasons I'm here today is because being from the opposite side of the aisle, I have to work with the Democrats on this side, Democrats on the Cheektowaga side. And in a village, in my village in particular, we don't worry about parties. It's all about people doing things for the community, and that's the most important thing. So, over the 4 years I've been mayor, coincided with your 4 years, and with Mayor Ruda and Supervisor Peczkowski, we tried to work as a team so that one wouldn't pull a driving ban without the other knowing it, or we wouldn't do a state of emergency without the other knowing it. And I hope that we can continue that, Supervisor Leary. Sure. When we do that. But I did give you one that I always do. This is congratulations for your 22 years of service to the community of town of Lancaster as supervisor and as councilman. And Ron, I appreciate being with you on the county
Same here.
governance.
Thank you. Kevin, step. Okay. I'll read something at the end of everything, but just real quick, thank you, everybody. Okay, we're going to move on with, carry on with resolution number 4. I catch my breath here. I'd like to move resolution number 4, now therefore be it resolved, the Town Board of Town of Lancaster does hereby authorize the execution of the proposed agreement to spend town highway funds for the year 2024 submitted by the Superintendent of Highways. May I have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the vote?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Leary?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazur?
Yes.
Supervisor Rufino?
Yes, don't forget, we have to sign that document that Diane has now. We're legal to sign it. I'd like to move resolution number 5, and this, whereas on January 6, 2020, the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster approved the agreement for leave of absence between the town, the CSEA White Collar Unit, and Cynthia Maj, that's why I go by Cynthia Maj. And whereas notwithstanding the provisions of Article 7 of the CBA, employees' leave of absence terminates upon the termination of employee's appointment as confidential secretary to the town supervisor. And whereas by letter dated October 12, 2023, Cindy Maj is formally requesting to return to her title of Building and Zoning Clerk as of January 1st, 2024, assigned to the office of the town attorney. Now therefore, be it resolved that effective January 1st, 2024, Cynthia will return to her former title of Building and Zoning Clerk assigned to the office of the town attorney. May I have a second?
Second.
On the question, on the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Leary?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazur?
Yes.
Supervisor Rufino?
Yes, where's Cindy? I can't say enough about her. Cindy, what she's done, she had to put up with me, first of all, for 4 years. That's nothing at all, but really, the person that really kept our office running and had everything organized is Cindy. And, you know, wherever she goes, she's going to continue to work well for the town. She's on top of everything. So the town, they have a terrific employee in Cindy, and best of luck with your position. Okay, I'd like to move resolution number 6. And whereas the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster has previously adopted an operating budget for 2023 fiscal year, and whereas one or more town departments have made budget transfers or requested budget transfers contrary to the originally adopted operating budget for 2023 fiscal year. Whereas the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster has duly considered the following budget transfers on behalf of the Office of Emergency Management. It's Ron Rosler, it's $4,000 from miscellaneous contractual to public safety supplies to cover supplying emergency shelters set up at the senior center in Westwood Park. And then again, this is coming into play because of all the issues that we had with the storm last year. So now we are setting up our senior center in Westwood Park for shelters. We really didn't have any shelters locally. So this is, again, you learn from your experiences, and that was a learning experience that we really needed to have a shelter. I think they were ending up in the police station, right, Chief? And it was just a tough goal. We really don't have first of all, we really didn't want them in there. There's only so much room in there for there, but again, this will take care of that. Now, therefore, be it further resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster hereby authorizes the budget transfers for the above described. May I have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Leary?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazur?
Yes.
Supervisor Rufino?
Yes. I'd like to move resolution number 7. Now therefore be it resolved, Town Board of Town of Lancaster hereby invites public bids for the Water System Improvements Project, contract number TLN-12, Brunk Road and Seabrook Road, within the town of Lancaster, said bids to be in conformance with the plans and specifications which are available at the office of William and Shutt, 37 Central Avenue in Lancaster, New York, and to be received in the office of the town clerk here at 21 Central Avenue no later than 10 a.m. local time on Thursday, January 11th, 2024, and open thereafter. May I have a second?
Second.
On the question, on the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Leary?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazur?
Yes.
Supervisor Rufino?
Yes. Councilmember Dickman, would you move resolutions number 8 through 11, please?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor and Honorable Board. I offer the next 4 resolutions for their adoption. Resolution number 8, whereas Alfreda Hanaszewski, doing business as Ed Henning Incorporated, 911 Ransom Road, Lancaster, New York, has applied for a renewal license to conduct a salvage yard in the premise situated at 911 Ransom Road in the town of Lancaster. Whereas the application was referred to the town board for review, and whereas the building inspector by letter dated December 7, 2023, has notified the town board that he has completed his review and made a favorable recommendation. Now therefore be it resolved that Alfreda Hanaszewski, doing business as Ed Henning Incorporated, 911 Ransom Road, Lancaster, New York, be and is hereby authorized to conduct a salvage yard on the premise situated at 911 Ransom Road, Lancaster, New York, for the period of January 1st, 2024 till December 31st, 2024, in strict conformance with the application of the petitioner as filed in the office of town clerk.
May I have a second?
Second.
On the question, on the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Leary?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazur?
Yes.
Supervisor Rufino?
Yes.
And Resolution 9, whereas Advantage Trucks LLC, 933 Ransom Road, Lancaster, New York, has applied for a renewal license to conduct a salvage yard in the premise at 933 Ransom Road in the town of Lancaster. Whereas the application was referred to the town board for review, and whereas the building inspector by letter dated December 7, 2023, has notified the town board that he has completed his review and made a favorable recommendation thereto. Now therefore be it resolved that the AdvantageTrucks.com LLC, 933 Ransom Road, Lancaster, New York, be and is hereby authorized to conduct a salvage yard on the premise situated at 933 Ransom Road, Lancaster, New York, for the period of January 1st, 2024 to December 31st, 2024, in strict conformance with the application of the petitioner as filed in the office of town clerk.
May I have a second?
Second.
On the question, on the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Leary?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazur?
Yes.
Supervisor Rufino?
Yes.
Resolution 10, whereas J. Rankus and Sons Incorporated, doing business as AJ's Auto LLC, 955 Ransom Road, Lancaster, New York, has applied for a license to conduct a salvage yard on the premise situate at 955 Ransom Road within the town. Whereas the application was referred to the town board for review, and whereas the building inspector by letter dated December 7, 2023, has notified the town board that he has completed his review and made a favorable recommendation thereto. Now therefore be it resolved that J. Rankus and Sons Incorporated, doing business as AJ's Auto LLC, 955 Ransom Road, Lancaster, New York, be and is hereby authorized to conduct a salvage yard in the premise situate at 955 Ransom Road, Lancaster, New York, for the period beginning January 1st, 2024 to December 31st, 2024, in strict conformance with the application of the petitioner as filed in the office of town clerk.
May I have a second?
Second.
On the question, on the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Leary?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazur?
Yes.
Supervisor Rufino?
Yes.
And number 11, whereas AMF Bowling Centers Lancaster Lanes has applied for a license to operate and maintain a game room on premise located at 4913 Transit Road within the town. Whereas the application was referred to the building inspector and police chief for review and recommendation, and whereas the building inspector and police chief have completed their review and made a formal favorable recommendation to the town board on the issuance of this license, now therefore be it resolved that the town clerk be and is hereby authorized to issue a license to AMF Bowling Centers Lancaster Lanes to operate and maintain a game room on the premise located at 4913 Transit Road, Lancaster, New York, with the following conditions. Application for renewal of license shall be submitted at least 30 days before the expiration. A copy of the entity business certificate is submitted to the town clerk's office. A new capacity certificate is issued after an on-site inspection by the building department. Be it further resolved that said license shall be issued for a one-year period of December 18th, 2023 to December 17th, 2024, in accordance with the application of the petitioner as filed in the town clerk's office, accompanied with a license fee of $1,440 for 22 amusement devices.
May I have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Leary?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazur?
Yes.
Supervisor Rufino?
Yes. Councilmember Burkhart, would you move resolution number 12, please?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor and Honorable Town Board. I'm offering Resolution 12 for adoption. Whereas the Town Line Volunteer Fire Department, by email received December 11, 2023, has requested the deletion of 2 members from the active roster of said fire association. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster hereby deletes from the membership of the Town Line Volunteer Fire Department the following individuals: Lynette and Brian Pfeiffer.
May I have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Leary?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazur?
Yes.
Supervisor Rufino?
Yes. Councilmember Mazur, number 13, please.
Yes, Mr. Supervisor and Honorable Town Board, I offer the following resolution, move for its adoption. Whereas the municipal home law of the state of New York and Chapter 26 of the Town of Lancaster Town Code provide for the adoption and enactment of local laws, and whereas the Town of Lancaster Town Board is proposing a local law to amend the setting of fees in Section 258, Articles 1 and 2, whereas the board has duly considered the action, the environmental assessment form, the criteria for determining significance set forth in seeker, and such other information deemed appropriate, and whereas the proposed action has been labeled a Type 1 action under seeker, and whereas the town board has identified the relevant areas of environmental concern, has taken a hard look at these areas, has made a reasoned elaboration of the basis for its determination. Now therefore be it resolved, based on a thorough review and examination of the known facts relating to the action and its careful review of all potentially adverse environmental impacts and the entire record and proceedings relating to the action, the board finds that the action will not have any significant adverse impact on the environment. The draft environmental impact statement will not be prepared. 2, the attached negative declaration incorporated herein by reference is issued and adopted for the reasons stated in the attached negative declaration. 3, the town clerk is hereby authorized and directed to distribute copies of the resolution as necessary. 4, the town attorney's office shall prepare and file a notice of determination of non-significance with the petitioner and with all required New York State and Erie County agencies, filing a copy of the letter of transmittal. And number 5, the resolution is effective immediately.
May I have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Leary?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazur?
Yes.
Supervisor Rufino?
Yes. Councilmember Dickman, number 14, please.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor, Honorable Board. I offer Resolution 14 for adoption. Whereas the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster has heretofore held a public hearing on November 15, 2021, upon the application of Jennifer Pagano for the special use permit for a home bakery, Sweet Ella's Bake Shop, on the premise located at 111 Pleasant View Drive. And whereas per its terms and conditions, the special use permit is currently up for renewal, and whereas by letter received November 24, 2023, Jennifer Pagano has requested that the town board renew the special use permit for an additional 2-year term, whereas the supervising code enforcement officer has recommended his approval of the special use permit in his letter dated December 6, 2023. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Lancaster does grant a special use permit renewal to Jennifer Pagano for a home occupation of Sweet Ella's Bake Shop on the premise of 111 Pleasant View Drive, Lancaster, New York, upon the terms and conditions set forth in the zoning ordinance for the period beginning December 6, 2023 and ending December 5, 2025. 2, that the applicant will continue in compliance with conditions as set forth of the Code of the Town of Lancaster if the applicant continues to engage in the home occupation on the premise, namely, and it has the same original conditions.
May I have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Leary?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazur?
Yes.
Supervisor Rufino?
Yes. Councilmember Leary, would you move resolution number 15, please?
Yes, sir. Mr. Supervisor and honorable town board members, I move the following resolution for adoption. Resolved that the town board of the town of Lancaster hereby authorizes the supervisor to execute the agreement as presented between the town of Lancaster and the Lancaster Industrial Development Agency, which provides for payment of $30,000 for year 2024 from the Lancaster Industrial Development Agency to the town of Lancaster in return for administrative services and overhead support provided by the town to the Lancaster Industrial Development Agency.
May I have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Leary?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazur?
Yes.
Supervisor Rufino?
Yes. I'd like to move resolution number 16, and this is another budget transfer. requested by our attorney, town attorney Tom Fowler, transferring from numerous accounts into office supply account, and it's for the purposes to supply purchases for a planning department development. May I have a second?
Second.
On the question, on the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Leary?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazer?
Yes.
Supervisor Rufino?
Yes. Okay, I'd like to move resolution number 17. Now therefore, be it resolved, Town Board of Town of Lancaster hereby approves the purchase of 2 new and unused Dell Latitude 5440 computers with monitors, optical mice, and Ethernet connection cables under New York State contract Dell New York State OS umbrella contract, vendor Dell Marketing, and at a cost not to exceed $2,339.76 to be paid for out of account 11420401- office supplies. Be it further resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster hereby approves the purchase of the 2 new and unused Dell Thunderbolt 4 docking stations available under New York State contract Dell New York State OS umbrella contract from New York State vendor Dell Marketing at the cost not to exceed $457.48, also be paid for out of account 11420401 office supplies. May I have a second?
Second.
On the question, on the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Leary?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazer?
Yes.
Supervisor Rufino?
Yes, Councilmember Burkhart, number 18 and 19, please.
Mr. Supervisor and Honorable Town Board, I'm offering resolutions 18 and 19 for adoption. Whereas John Pilato, Highway Superintendent for the Town of Lancaster, by letter dated December 8th, 2023, has informed the Town of Lancaster that the paver requires repairs, and whereas the only authorized service provider and parts vendor for the paver is Milton Cat, located in Batavia, New York, and has submitted an estimate not to exceed $44,115.24 for the cleaning, replacement of several parts, repairs, and adjustments necessary to the paver, and whereas by letter dated December 8th, 2023, Highway Superintendent Pilato has recommended that the Town of Lancaster approve the cost of the repair for the paver to Milton Cat, whereas funding for the repairs of the paver is available from account 13-5110-0426, repairs and maintenance. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of Town of Lancaster hereby approves the expenditure of funds as requested by Highway Superintendent John Pilato to Milton Cat, not to exceed $44,115.24. Be it further resolved, the funding for the repairs will be taken from account 13-5110-0426, repairs and maintenance. Be it further resolved that the supervisor is hereby authorized to execute contracts on behalf of the Town of Lancaster and to do all necessary to officiate the intent of this resolution, pending the receipt and approval of all required documents, insurance certificates by the town attorney.
Before you vote, the date is wrong at the bottom. It should be 18, not 13 of December. It's just a typo.
Okay.
May I have a second?
Second.
On the question, on the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Leary?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazer?
Yes.
Supervisor Rufino?
Yes.
Resolution 19 is the transfer of funds, whereas the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster has previously adopted an operating budget for the 2023 fiscal year, whereas one or more town departments have made budget transfers, whereas the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster has duly considered the following budget transfers. It's requested by John Pilato, transfer of $30,000 from curbing, $8,000 from resurfacing, and $7,000 from sub-base into the account of repairs and maintenance for the paver. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster hereby authorizes the budget transfers above described.
May I have a second?
Second?
On the question, on the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Leary?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazer?
Yes.
Supervisor Rufino?
Yes, Councilmember Mazer, number 20, please.
Yes, Mr. Supervisor, Honorable Town Board, offer the following resolution and move for its adoption. Whereas the Town Board is considering the proposed minor subdivision on a parcel which will cover a portion of the 3.45 acre physically disturbed area located at 647 Ransom Road, and two SBL numbers are 106.03-2-1.111 and 106.03-2-17.1120 in the Town of Lancaster. And whereas the Town of Lancaster Planning Board has reviewed the environmental impact of the minor subdivision project pursuant to seeker regulations at their meeting December 5th, 2023, and recommended that a negative declaration be issued. And whereas the Town Board has duly considered the plans for the renovation project using the long environmental assessment form, the criteria for determining significance set forth in seeker regulations, and such other information deemed appropriate, including the recommendation of the Town of Lancaster Planning Board. And whereas the Town Board has identified the relevant areas of environmental concern, has taken a hard look at these areas, and has made a reasoned elaboration of the basis for its determination, and whereas the proposed action has been labeled an unlisted action under seeker, now therefore be it resolved by the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster that, one, based upon the Town Board's thorough and careful review of the proposed minor subdivision, which will cover a portion of a 3.45 acre physically disturbed area located at 647 Ransom Road, SBL 106.03-2-1.111 and 106.03-2-17.1120, the Town of Lancaster will not result in any significant environmental impacts, and hereby issued a negative declaration pursuant to seeker for the reasons stated therein. 2, the town clerk shall file a copy of the negative declaration in the file for the project. 3, the town attorney's office shall prepare and file a notice of determination of non-significance with the petitioner and with all required New York State and Erie County agencies, filing a copy of the letter of transmittal. And number 4, this resolution is effective immediately.
May I have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Leary?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazur?
Yes.
Supervisor Rufino?
Yes. Councilmember Leary, number 21, please.
Yes, sir. Mr. Supervisor and honorable town board members, I move the following resolution for adoption. Whereas the town board of the town of Lancaster has previously adopted an operating budget for the 2023 fiscal year, and whereas one or more town departments have budget transfers or have requested budget transfers contrary to the originally adopted operating budget for the 2023 fiscal year, and whereas the town board of the town of Lancaster has duly considered the following budget transfer, it's to transfer $5,000 from the contingency account to the bingo wages account to cover overage and remaining salaries. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the town board of the town of Lancaster hereby authorizes the budget transfers above described.
May I have a second?
Second?
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Leary?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazur?
Yes.
Supervisor Rufino?
Yes. As we stated, number 22 and 23 are being tabled. So Councilmember Mazur, would you move 24 and 25, please?
Yes, sir. Mr. Supervisor and Honorable Town Board, I offer the following resolution and move for its adoption. Whereas the Town Board is considering the proposed subdivision of a parcel which will cover a portion of the .5 acre physically disturbed area located at 3666 Bowen Road and 3670 Bowen Road in the Town of Lancaster. Whereas the Town of Lancaster Planning Board has reviewed the environmental impact of this minor subdivision project pursuant to seeker regulations at their meeting December 5th, 2023, and recommended that a negative declaration be issued. Whereas the Town Board has duly considered the plans for this project using the long environmental assessment form, the criteria for determining significance set forth in seeker regulations, and such other information deemed appropriate, including the recommendation of the Town of Lancaster Planning Board. And whereas the Town Board has identified the relevant areas of environmental concern, has taken a hard look at these areas, and has made a reasoned elaboration of the basis for its determination. And whereas the proposed action has been labeled unlisted action under seeker, now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster, that one, based upon the town's thorough and careful review of the proposed minor subdivision, which will cover a portion of a .5 physically disturbed area located at 3666 Bowen Road and 3670 Bowen Road in the town of Lancaster, will not result in any significant environmental impacts, and hereby issues a negative declaration pursuant to seeker for the reasons stated therein. 2, the town clerk shall file a copy of the negative declaration in the project. 3, the town attorney's office shall prepare and file a notice of determination of non-significance with the petitioner and with all required New York State and Erie County agencies, filing a copy of the letter of transmittal. And number 4, this resolution is effective immediately.
May I have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Leary?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazur?
Yes.
Supervisor Rufino?
Yes.
Resolution number 25, Mr. Supervisor and Honorable Town Board, I offer the following resolution and move for its adoption. Whereas by letter dated December 12th, 2023, Bruce Stutz, Town of Lancaster Parks Crew Chief, has requested the Town Board approve expenditures for the necessary boiler maintenance and system pump replacements for the boiler at the new garage at the Town of Lancaster Highway Department, and whereas Bruce Stutz, Park Crew Chief, has received 2 proposals, with the lowest being from Muhlenberg Betts, 30 Scott Street in Buffalo, New York, at a cost not to exceed $19,635 to include annual maintenance on both boilers, removal and disposal of failed system pump, furnish and install one B&G EcoCore XL pump, and program same as required, as well as providing a 1-year warranty per service quote dated December 6, 2023, which will be paid for from account 01-1620-250. Now therefore, be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster hereby approves the expenditures for the necessary boiler maintenance and system pump replacements for the boiler at the new garage, the Town of Lancaster Highway Department, to be done by Muhlenberg Betts, and cost not to exceed $19,635, which will include annual maintenance on both boilers, removal of disposal of failed system pump, furnish and install one B&G EcoCore XL pump, and program same as required, as well as providing a 1-year warranty per service quote dated December 6, 2023, which will be paid from account 01-1620-250, building other capital outlay.
May I have a second?
Second?
On the question? On the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Leary?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazur?
Yes.
Supervisor Rafino?
Yes. I'd like to move resolution number 26. Now therefore be resolved, Town Board of the Town of Lancaster hereby approves the expenditure of funds as requested by Parks Crew Chief Bruce Stutz to SA Removal LLC in an amount not to exceed $3,000 for the demolition of 2 sections of exterior door areas, door removal, glass panel removal, removal of all small sections of wall to the ground level. And be it further resolved that the funding for repairs will be taken out of account number 13-5110-0426, repairs and maintenance. And be it further resolved, the supervisor hereby authorized to execute contracts on behalf of the Town of Lancaster and to do all things necessary to effectuate this intent of the resolution pending the receipt and approval of all required documents and insurance certificates by our town attorney. May I have a second?
Second?
On the question? On the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Leary?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazur?
Yes.
Supervisor Rafino?
Yes. I'd like to move resolution number 27. Now therefore be it resolved, Town Board of Town of Lancaster hereby approves the agreement as presented between the Town of Lancaster and the Pew Lancaster Boys and Girls Club in order to provide financial assistance for the operation of a youth development program for the benefit of the youth in the Town of Lancaster in the amount of $245,000 as appropriated in account code A7320.411 in the Town of Lancaster, New York, 2024 adopted budget. And be it further resolved that the Lancaster Town Board hereby authorizes the supervisor to execute this agreement, which will cover the period of January 1st, 2024 through December 31st, 2024, on behalf of the Town of Lancaster, and do all things necessary to effectuate the intent of this resolution pending the receipt of all required certificates of insurance by the town attorney for renewal and approval. May I have a second?
Second?
On the question? On the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Leary?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazur?
Yes.
Supervisor Rafino?
Yes. I'd like to move resolution number 28. Now therefore be it resolved, the Town Board of Town of Lancaster hereby approves change order number 2 to Camco General Contracting as listed below. Description of change order: provide electrical service including conduit, lighting, and receptacles for a new gazebo. This change order does not cover the expected charge from the utility company to bill the town for setting up the meter and providing the service connection. The reason for the change: the original plan and specifications did not have provisions to provide electrical service to the new pavilion. It was decided by town officials to add electrical. This change order covers the additional cost to perform electrical work over the previously amended contract total of $335,800. Be it further resolved that the supervisor is hereby authorized to execute this change order on behalf of the Town of Lancaster. May I have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Leary?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazur?
Yes.
Supervisor Rafino?
Yes. Councilmember Burkhart, number 29, please.
Mr. Supervisor and Honorable Town Board, I'm offering Resolution 29 for adoption. Whereas AI Construction and Painting, Buffalo, New York, the contractor to work on Lancaster Historical Society building, in the town of Lancaster has submitted change order number 1 to the town board for approval, increasing the amount by $4,719.79 for a new total project not to exceed the amount of $79,465.63 to be taken from account number 11620.426 based on the description of work previously provided to the town board. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Lancaster hereby approves change order number 1 to A1 Construction and Painting, Buffalo, New York, as described to the town board. Description, miscellaneous addition, carpentry repairs, original was $58,400. The change order was for $4,719.49, and the new contract sum is $63,119.79. Be it further resolved that the supervisor be and is hereby authorized to execute this change order on behalf of the town of Lancaster.
The numbers are off there. The $4,719.79 is the additional amount. If you could vote on just the additional amount for the change order, I'll be sure to give Diane the right numbers.
Yes, I'm breathing now.
That is the correct amount.
Okay.
And the total is,
I'll get you the total as well.
Okay.
Okay. May I have a second?
I will second the $4,719.79 portion.
79.
79.
49 cents.
Oh, wait.
So up there.
It's 79 at the top, and that's the
Okay.
correct number.
Gotcha, okay.
It's 79.
Okay, it's 79, okay.
Okay.
So we have a second on the question? Oh,
Councilmember Burkhart.
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman.
Yes.
Councilmember Leary.
Yes.
Councilmember Mazur.
Yes.
Supervisor Rufino.
yes. Oh,
Councilmember Burkhart.
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman.
Yes.
Councilmember Leary.
Yes.
Councilmember Mazur.
Yes.
Supervisor Rufino.
yes. I'd like to move resolution number 31. Now therefore be it resolved, the following individuals hereby appointed to the following part-time permanent position in the Parks, Recreation, and Forestry Department of the town of Lancaster, working not more than 19 3/4 hours per week, and that this being a part-time position provides no health insurance, sick days, vacations, or other fringe benefits not specifically mandated for part-time employees. The person is James Kusowitz of Lancaster, a recreation attendant at $14.20 an hour, effective date is December 9th. Be it further resolved, the supervisor of the town of Lancaster shall be authorized to take all necessary action to implement the foregoing. May I have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart.
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman.
Yes.
Councilmember Leary.
Yes.
Councilmember Mazur.
Yes.
Supervisor Rufino.
Yes. Councilmember Dickman, you have the last resolution tonight, number 32.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor and Honorable Board. I offer Resolution 32 for adoption. Whereas the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster held a public hearing on April 17, 2017, upon the application of Michael Salvador, President of MJJ Property Management, LLC, for a special use permit to do mulching, shredding, and processing on the premise locally known as 6140 Genesee Street, Lancaster, New York, currently zoned agricultural residential with a sand, gravel, and aggregate mining overlay district, and the board issued such special use permit May 1st, 2017, with special use permit subject to a yearly renewal upon application by the property owner. Whereas by letter dated November 20th, 2023, Michael Salvatore, President of MJJ Property Management, has requested that the town board renew the special use permit for an additional one-year period. Whereas Matt Fischione, the town's code enforcement officer, completed an on-site inspection upon the property compliant to the original conditions of the special use permit per his letter dated December 7th, 2023. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Lancaster does grant a renewal for the special use permit to Michael Salvador, President MJJ Property Management, to perform mulch shredding and processing on the premise locally known as 6140 Genesee Street, Lancaster, New York, upon the terms and conditions as set forth in the zoning ordinance for the period of January 1st, 2024 through December 31st, 2024, and that the applicant will continue in compliance with conditions as set forth of the Code of the Town of Lancaster, and this has the same original conditions.
May I have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart.
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman.
Yes.
Councilmember Leary.
Yes.
Councilmember Mazur.
Yes.
Supervisor Rufino.
Yes. We're going to move on to communications.
Supervisor Rufino, one second. On Resolution 25, just the account number is wrong. The last four is 0260.
And it's actually replacing 2 pumps on that boiler. Which is included in that price.
25?
We can vote again? Yeah. Yeah, what's that?
It's what is the 3 last numbers?
Last rate 260.
So, let's,
Make a motion that we
Revise the typo.
revise the typo to show the correct amounts.
we have a second?
Second. And he said they're actually buying 2, does it say 2? Yeah, it does just say 2 proposals.
There's 2 pumps on there.
For the same price?
Both boilers.
The total is correct.
So install 2 B&G EcoCert XL pumps.
Yeah, just in the quotations.
Typo, we don't have to worry about it.
Okay, we're good. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, we're going to move on to communications. 684, all the way through 701, received and filed. 702 is resolution tonight, 703 received and filed, 704 resolution, 705 through 708, resolution tonight, 709 through 717, received and filed, 718 and 19 are resolution tonight, 720, Planning Committee, 721 for resolution, 722 through 728, received and filed, 729 through 731, resolution tonight, 732, received and filed, 733, resolution tonight, and then 734 through 736, received and filed, 737, resolution tonight, and 738, received and filed. We come to the part of the meeting now where anybody can speak on any subject matter they would like. Please come up to the podium, give your name, address, and just by raising your hand, I will acknowledge you. Anybody want to speak? Yes, sir?
Hello, how you doing? My name is Joe Cianciosa. I live in town of Lancaster. Ron, congratulations on your awards and proclamations tonight. I represent the Lancaster View Soccer Club. We would like to thank Ron Ruffino for his continued efforts to help the soccer club. Ron has supported our goal to have access to additional soccer fields for a number of years. The support he has given the club started before he was the supervisor. From land research to discussions with town employees to conversations with members of the soccer club, the amount of time Ron has spent helping us has not gone unnoticed. Ron's strong support and continuous encouragement to help improve our soccer club is greatly appreciated. We've been struggling for a long time to try and improve our situation. We need your help. We hope to get it in the next year. Yes, very close. And thank you very much for your support also.
Sir, can you spell your last name?
I'm sorry? Cianciosa.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Anybody else like to speak? Yes, sir? We're honored to have Supreme Court Justice Mark Montour here.
Good evening, Mark Montour. Ron, you and I started a number of years ago, decades ago, I think. I want to point out for the members of the board, you do this job for the benefit of the town. Pay's not great, benefits aren't there. Some of these meetings turned out a lot of times to be a little contentious, and maybe they still are, I don't know, it's been a while. It's been a while since I've been here, but I want to commend you all for that, because public service is very important. You know, not many people are capable of doing that. It's a special trait, it's a special characteristic that you have by doing that. But I've known Ron I was his attorney at one point in time. That's how I think how we met years ago. But Ron always says I got him involved in this, you know, and I guess whether thank you, I heard a thank you, right? That It isn't, because your family's here, and they sacrifice. You all sacrifice, and I just want to thank Ron, for the work that you've done, because I always know, even in times when there's disagreements, which there always are, you did what you thought was right. You did what you thought was best for the town. I think that's something that everyone, I think, has, that ability to do what's right for the town, because it isn't. You're sacrificing a lot to be here. You're sacrificing your families, you're sacrificing from your work. There's a lot of things, other things you could be doing, but I think in the end, what my wife's here today, she wasn't always too excited about me doing this either, but I know you always did it from your heart, and I think if everyone doesn't realize that, then they're mistaken, because you did, and it was fun times. It was other times it was a little bit more contentious, but at the end, you could always say that, go look at yourself and say, I did what I thought was best for the residents of the town, because that's what your responsibilities are to these members here. Those are the responsibilities. Everyone has something a little bit different here and there, but the end line, the bottom line is always what's best for the town of Lancaster. And you've done well in that regard.
Thank you.
And congratulations on your retirement. Is it retirement? I don't know, is it? Best of luck. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Drew Schaub. My father, Herb Schaub, we're the owners of Brazen Brewing. I live in Lockport. He lives in Amherst. Ron, I wanted to just express our gratitude for supporting us and the other council members supporting us on getting this business off the ground. And, thank you to Lancaster in general for, making such a great home for our brewery. And we're excited to have brought it to you guys. And, but thank you so much from back when we met in 2021 to all the way now, right? 2020. It's 2020. Yeah. It's been a long road. But, thank you to you, Ron, for supporting us and really seeing our project through. So, thank you.
Very welcome. Thank you for choosing Lancaster.
Yeah, I just want to say a couple of things. What really impressed us was the fact, when we first met you, Paul Leone brought us over, we met together, and you took a personal interest in trying to encourage us to continue to look for land to develop our project in Lancaster. And that was really one of the things that helped really convince us this is really where we want to be. So, we thank you and all the board members for that support throughout the time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Schaub, your first name?
Pardon?
Your first name?
Herb.
And I have Herb.
Drew.
Drew. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
Alexis Del Carlo, resident of Lancaster. So on behalf of our family, from my mom, my sister, my brother, I just want to take a minute on behalf of everyone to thank our dad for his hard work and dedication to the town of Lancaster for the past 22 years. I remember moving to Lancaster in 1993 and remembering we don't have neighbors on either side of us. It was just clear open. Lancaster's grown a tremendous amount in the past 30 years, really putting itself on the map as a place to live, work, and play. You can take pride in knowing that your time as councilman and supervisor helped with the growth. You ran 6 successful campaigns. One of them, you weren't even on the ballot. Even when the people had a choice, they still chose you to represent this great town. Being a resident of Lancaster myself, I remember every single campaign. From 11 years old and sealing endless envelopes and walking door to door with you, to at 16 driving around and doing mail drops with my now husband, and to as an adult being a former committee member and getting signatures on every weekend. We had sunny, rainy, and windy election days over the years, but they always ended in our favor. Your hard work and dedication to this town is part of the reason I wanted to stay and raise my family. Your persistence and hard work never ended with your campaign. One of your first accomplishments in literal terms may be your biggest with the clocks, including the 40-foot tall Westwood clock, giving you the nickname of Clockman. I remember how proud you were the day the Westwood clock was complete and that it will stand as part of Lancaster's history forever. There's many pictures, including with Rudy. Your list of accomplishments during your time is long, but some of your most notable ones include bringing back $2.5 million of grant funding for projects that brought businesses and jobs to Lancaster, your affiliation with the Association of Erie County Governments, including being elected president this year, chairman of Lancaster Industrial Agency, which assisted in bringing Derrick Corporation's 270,000 square foot, $18 million warehouse, the conversion to the LED streetlights, which saved the town money for many years to come, your work with the youth, including coaching Lancaster football, baseball, and Saints hockey. Your commitment to the youth was recognized when you were inducted into the Lancaster Youth Hall of Fame. Dad, I could not be prouder of you. You've always been a role model, and your influence has shaped me into the person I am today. As it has been said before, you should leave a place better than you found it. And during your time of administration, the general unassigned fund balance increased from about $2 million to over $3.5 million. Your family is beyond proud of you and grateful for having someone like you represent our town for the past 22 years. I hope you are able to enjoy your newly found free time in 2024. I know your wife, children, grandchildren, and Rudy will be happy to get more of your time. Go Bills.
Anybody else? I mean, you're still.
Can I just do my little thing, because I'm just like the underband and you're the... This is my final board meeting, and I just want to say a couple of things, and then let Ron take center stage, because it's really his day. As I leave my seat on the town board, I'd just like to say a few words to the great people of Lancaster. First of all, I'd like to thank my family for all their support. Even though my kids are in college, it's been a busy schedule for us. I just want to thank my wife Jody, my son Ben, and my daughter Madeline for their support the last few years. Like Judge Montour says, this job takes a lot away from your family, and I'm looking forward to slowing things down a little bit. Again, I thank you for the bottom of my heart, all your support. I couldn't have done it without you. I'd like to thank these board members. I think we generally worked well together as best we could. We didn't always agree on every issue, but that's okay in a healthy democracy. I wish Bob, Adam, and Mark, along with the new members, Melissa Studley and Don Schroeder, great success. Work together as best you guys can. You'll have some tough decisions to make. Use your resources and do what's best for all the town. I know you will. I'd like to congratulate, obviously, Ron on a job very well done. You need to really enjoy your retirement. I'd like to thank Town Clerk Diane Terranova for always providing me with excellent information and our friendly conversations that we had. You're excellent at what you do, and it was a pleasure working with you. I'd like to thank Tom Fowler for his expert legal advice the past few years. Tom was always honest to the board, whether we liked his deliberations or not, and I appreciate that. Thanks, Tom. Matt Fashone and Ed Schiller, I'd like to thank you guys for all your hard work. Zoning and development issues can be time-consuming and overwhelming at times. These guys are top-notch at what they do. The new board needs to listen to what they have to say, and thank you, gentlemen. John Pilato, Michelle Barberio, thank you for always giving me great information on what's going on in the highway department. I appreciate your honesty. Bruce Stutz, thank you for your hard work in the rec department, and I look forward to taking advantage of the improvements that you're working on. Chief Gummo and Chief Karn, thank you for providing me with the pertinent information, setting the policies in the police department. You were a big help with everything. John Trojanowski at the Youth Bureau, thank you very much for all your work with our youth. And I could go on, and I'd like to thank all the hardworking staff of all these departments in the town. Your work does not go unnoticed, and thank you for everything you've done to make this the greatest town in the state. And lastly, I'd like to thank the residents of Lancaster. It was truly a pleasure to serve you the last 4 years. We didn't solve all the problems, but we did solve some. God bless Lancaster.
daughter said a lot of this, but there's some things in here, really to the residents and the employees and everybody else within the town. It's really been a great pleasure. I've been privileged to work for you, the people of Lancaster, serving you as a supervisor for the past 4 years and councilman for the previous 18 years. After 6 successful campaigns, and as difficult as it may be, I made the decision not to run for another term and retire as a town of Lancaster supervisor. I must first thank my family for their never-ending support during this tenure, which starts with my wife Sarah, who has dealt with all the trials and tribulations of me being involved with politics. My daughter Danielle and her husband John, along with their 2 children, Madeline and Luca. My son Ron Jr. and his wife Janine and their 2 children, Giovanni and Gemma. My daughter Alexis and her husband Nick and their 2 children, Ashton and Emmett. I would like to reflect on the past 22 years of service that I've been providing some of the residents while on this town board and voting on resolutions at over 500 meetings. Some of my proudest achievements during this tenure with the federal funding that I was able to secure to provide us with the clocks that were erected in 2005. It includes a 40-foot tower clock at Westwood, the 2 street clocks that are in the village of Lancaster and Village of Depew. These landmarks are now, will forever be a part of Lancaster's history. As supervisor, the ability to bring back nearly $2.5 million of grant funding for items such as our dog shelter, senior center projects, culvert projects, forestry projects, flood mitigation projects, etc. In addition, there are multiple grants in the pending notification bucket totaling nearly $1.8 million. My affiliation with the Association of Erie County Governments, in which I was named to the Board of Directors for 2021 and 2022, then elected as president for 2023. It was most pleasurable to work with these leaders in towns and villages throughout Erie County. In addition, I was named chairman of the Association of Erie County Government Supervisors Forum from 2021 through 2023. As chairman of the Lancaster Industrial Development Agency, I was able to broker deals which brought such major projects to the town of Lancaster, which assist us in keeping the tax levy down. Some of the notable projects are the 270,000 square foot, $18 million warehouse that Derrick Corporation constructed by the bike path near Walter Winter Parkway, as well as premier dog training facility on Lancaster Parkway, which is the only facility of this type in New York State, Brazen Brewery and Genesee Street. And yeah, it was the land that they first had put a bid on, had all these restrictions, and it wasn't going to be doable, but we did find them a place. And that place is packed all the time. I'm sure most people here have been there at least on one occasion. The conversion to the LED street lights, which I started as a councilman and finished while I was in my supervisor position. The conversion of over 2,600 lights not only has provided better lighting, but has also reduced our yearly spending on energy to power these lights by over $197,000. The installation of the Verdi Fabio ITS cabinet traffic signal backup system by Verdi Perenni, which are on the 8 traffic signals that the town of Lancaster is responsible for managing. We were the first municipality in North America to accomplish getting all of our signals up and running on this platform. The banner program, which will now visualize these banners when entering the town of Lancaster from various locations. In addition, the banners are located at both Westwood and Walden Pond Parks, as well as some of our municipal buildings like 525 Pavement and the Senior Center Youth Bureau entrances. 3 free banners came with this program. I dedicated them to the 3 volunteer fire companies located within the town. In summary, the greatest accomplishment that will assist every resident in the town of Lancaster is being able to put together a budget that had a 0% increase in taxes. I was able to recommend this since the general unassigned fund balance increased from $2.13 million to $4.25 million during the time of my administration. Having said that, I'm still leaving approximately $3.7 million in the general unassigned fund balance for the new administration. Again, thank you everybody for all your love and support. I wish you and your families a very Merry Christmas. With that, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Motion to adjourn?
May I have a second?
Second.
On the roll?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Classic. We're good. I never forgot. No, what I always done with that is I always put $10 left. And sometimes I don't more and put it in the bucket. And sometimes it's I ate all of it. Don't worry, we're all good.